Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, let us start. Today, we shall learn about railways in the world. And remember, we have been learning Chapter 8 Transport and Communication System. Now, I shall share my screen. Okay, here, railways. We have two major modes of land transport. The first one is roads, another one is railways. Now, let us read. Railways are a mode of land transport for bulky and passenger over long distances. So this is the advantage of railways. So this is the principal mode of transport for bulky, heavy and bulky goods and passenger over long distances. And the railway gauges vary in different countries and are roughly classified as broad, more than 1.5 meter, then standard gauge that is 1.44 meter, then meter gauge that is 1 meter wide, and the smaller gauges that is less than 1 meter. Can you tell me what is a gauge as you have learned earlier? Okay. So I think all of you might have seen a railway track. Let us say this is a rail. That means iron, a very long iron beam, and this is another iron beam. Okay, so this iron beam is known as a rail. So this is a rail, and this is another rail. So here it may be fastened by this by another iron plate or by a wooden plank. Okay, and see, we you have known that this is a rail and this is another rail, and this wide or the distance between the two rail is known as gauge. Okay, the distance between two rail is known as gauge, and here we have these four types of railway gauges in the world. The first one is the broad gauge. It is 1.5 meter wide. Say for example here this is what? This is 1.4 sorry 1.5 meter wide. That is known as broad gauge. Then another one is standard gauge 1.44 meter. Then meter gauge 1 meter wide. Smaller gauge less than 1 meter. Okay, so maybe say 75 or 76 centimeter, for example. And this standard gauge is mainly used in the United Kingdom, UK. Let us continue. Commuter trains are very popular in UK, USA, Japan, and India. So what do you mean by commuter train? Actually, commuter train is a passenger train that is ridden primarily by passengers who travel regularly from one place to another. That is known as commuter train. Okay, mainly for the passenger. Then who is a commuter? Who is a commuter? Can you tell me who is a commuter? Say this is a place, okay, and this is your house. For example, this is your house, and your workplace is here. This is your workplace. Okay, this is your workplace, and this is your home, And see, every day except holidays, you will be going from your home to the workplace and will be coming back. That means you are a commuter. Okay. And so you may be traveling either by train or by bus or by another means of transport. And so such type of movement of people from one place to another within a day is known as commutation. Okay. And the one who is moving is known as commuter. So commuter train is merely for the passengers. Okay. Those who are going to and fro every day. And these carry millions of passengers daily to and fro in the city. And there are about 13 lakh kilometers of railway open for the traffic in the world. And see, this is a tube train in Vienna, and this is also an example of commuter train. Okay, so many passengers are traveling every day. Okay, to and fro. Now let us learn about the distribution of railways in the world, country-wise, continent-wise. So first we have Europe. Europe has one of the most dense rail network in the world. There are about 4,40,000 kilometers of railways in Europe, and most of it is double or multiple track. And Belgium has the highest density of 1 kilometer railway for every 6.5 kilometers area. Just do not forget, okay? Belgium has the highest density of railway network. It has 1 kilometer of railways for every 6.5 square kilometers area. The industrial regions exhibit some of the highest densities in the world. You know, industries for the industrial region, see, transportation of these raw materials and finished goods is done by railways, and that is why generally we find highest densities of railways in the industrial regions of the world. The important railheads in Europe are London, Paris, Brussels, Milan, Berlin, Warsaw. Okay, you may locate using an atlas. Then passenger transport is more important than the freight in many countries for the railways. Freight, you know, the goods, the commodities. And the passenger transport is more important nowadays than the goods transport in many of the European countries. Underground railways, the one constructed in the underground, okay? See here, this is the surface here. And say by constructing a tunnel, okay, these railways can be constructed inside a tunnel, and that is known as underground railways. These are very important in London and Paris. One, okay, very good example is here, Channel Tunnel, operated by the Eurotunnel group, through England, connects London with Paris under the seawater. Okay, do not you should not forget this area. See, the name of the track is Channel Tunnel. It is operated by the Eurotunnel group, and it connects London with Paris under the sea. Actually, see here, this one. This is a photograph showing this Channel Tunnel. Okay, the terminal Eurotunnel run by Eurotunnel. It is also known as, the train is also known as Eurotunnel. And these are the tunnels, and this is the train. Okay, and how it is connected is here. Just see here. We have British Channel here. So this is sea. Here we have sea water is here. And here this is France, I think you'll be seeing, and this is UK. And this Channel Tunnel, I think you are seeing, connecting these two countries under the sea. Okay, and we have one more here. This is how it is constructed. Okay, on the left side, I think you'll be seeing United Kingdom here, and here we have France, and this big line, red line, shows the course of the Senel Tunnel. Okay, and it is under the sea. See, this is here. We have a sea here. I think you are seeing. Any question, boys and girls? Okay, let us continue. So in Russia, railways account for about 90% of the country's total transport with a very dense network west of Ural Mountain. Okay, because west of Ural, it is highly industrialized area, and that is why we find heavy railway network. Moscow is the most important railhead with major lines radiating to different parts of the country's vast geographical area. Underground railways and commuter trains are also important in Moscow. Okay, just see here. This is a map showing distribution of railways in Russia, and see here. I think Moscow is here. You may be seeing Moscow. Moscow is here. Moscow is here, and from Moscow, so many railways are radiating, as mentioned in the books. And here, Ural Mountain is somewhere here, and west of Ural Mountain, the railway density is very, very high. Okay, whereas in the Siberian part, okay, it is not industrially developed, and that is why railway density is low in Russia. Then in North America, uh, North America has one of the most extensive rail network, accounting for nearly 40% of the world total. In contrast to many European countries, railways are used more for long distance, bulky freight like ores, grains, timber, machinery than passengers. What is going on in Europe is that in Europe, passenger trains are more important than the freight trains. Okay, transportation of passengers is more important than the goods transport. Whereas in American countries, okay, unlike the European countries, these transportation of raw materials like ores, grain, timber, machinery is more important than the passenger transport. In North America, the most dense rail network is found in the highly industrialized and urbanized region of the east central USA and adjoining Canada. In this is for USA, and here, this is a railway map of USA, and here this is the northeastern part of USA, highly industrialized region of USA. It is also known as the Great Lakes region. Here, this is the these are the Great Lakes, and so many railway networks. I think just see the red lines. Okay, just see the red lines, and this shows the railway network. Just see here. I will make zoom. The red line represents the railway network in USA, in the USA. Then in Canada, railways are in the public sector, means controlled and maintained by the government, and distributed all over these sparsely populated areas. The Transcontinental Railways carry bulk of wheat and coal tonnage, so mainly used for transporting wheat and coal and other raw materials. Okay, and here we have this one. So this is a railway map of Canada. a map showing distribution railways in Canada. Just the lines represent the railways, okay. And in this case also, in Canada also, the main concentration is mainly in the industrial region here, in the Great Lakes region here, whereas in the sparsely populated here, the railway density is low, okay. Then in Australia, about 40,000 kilometers the railways, of which 25% are found in New South Wales alone. The West East Australian National Railway line runs across the country from Perth to Sydney, and New Zealand's railways are mainly in North Island to serve the farming areas. Okay, so maximum concentration of railways in Australia is in the New South Wales, about 25%. So let us look at the map of of Australia, showing railways here. Just see here, these lines, all these lines shows the railways, and the one running east, west, north, south is the transcontinental one. Okay, so this is the transcontinental. Another one is also there, transcontinental, means connecting the two ends of the continents. And next we have South America. In South America, rail network is the most dense in two regions, namely Pampas of Argentina, the grassland areas, okay, the commercial grain farming areas, and the coffee growing regions of Brazil, which together account 40% of South America's total route length. So we have mainly two countries in South America where the railway density is very high. That is, those are Argentina and Brazil, accounting 40%. Only Chile among the remaining countries has considerable route length linking coastal centers with mining sites in the interior. Okay, Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela have short single rail track lines from ports to interior to with no interconnecting links. So now let us look at two countries railway map. So this is the railway map of Brazil. Just see here, and all the lines shows the railway lines, railway tracks. And another one, this is the map showing the railways in Argentina. Just see here, you see these lines, all these lines are the railway tracks. Then let us continue. There is only one transcontinental rail route linking Buenos Aires in Argentina with Valparaiso here in Chile across the Andes Mountains through the Uspallata Pass, located at a height of 3,900 meter above the sea level. So there is only one transcontinental railway line in South America. Okay, connecting Buenos Aires in Argentina with the Valparaiso in Chile. Then in Asia, railway network is the most dense in thickly populated areas of Japan, China, and India. Other countries have relatively few rail routes. West Asia is least developed. Okay, is least developed in the facilities because of vast desert and a sparsely populated region. The western part of Asia mainly arid areas, desert areas, and population density is low, and that is why we have low density of railway network. And here this map shows railway network in Asia, Trans-Asia, okay. And see here, it is mainly in India, then eastern part of Asia, and in Africa, despite being the second largest continent, has only 40,000 kilometers of railway with South Africa alone accounting 18,000 kilometers due to concentration of gold, diamond, copper mining activities. So Africa is the second largest continent in the world, but it has only 40,000 kilometers of railways. And out of these 40,000 also, 18,000 is shared by South Africa alone because of these mining activities, because of gold mining, diamond mining, copper mining, okay. South Africa has about 18,000 kilometers of railway lines. So here we have the map, okay, showing railways in Africa. And see here in the southern part, here in the South Africa area, we find more concentration of railways here, okay. And so let us continue. So important routes of the continent, railway routes of the continent Africa are these: the Benguela Railway through Angola to Katanga, Zambia Copper Belt. Then we have Tanzania Railway from Zambian Copper Belt to Dar es Salaam on the coast. Then the railway through Botswana and Zimbabwe, linking the landlocked states of to the South African network. Okay, so these are important one. And the fourth one is the blue train from Cape Town to Pretoria in the Republic of South Africa is the one. So I will show you a map, okay, here. This one, the blue train is here, Pretoria to Cape Town here. I think you may be seeing. Here we have the Pretoria, and here this is the Cape Town, and so this is the blue train railway track. Okay, this is in the country South Africa. Up to here, any question, boys and girls?
No, sir.
Okay, then Transcontinental Railways. So what do you mean by Transcontinental Railways? Transcontinental Railways runs across the continent and links the two ends. It's a very long railway track connecting the two ends. As I told you, suppose this is a very big continent, and here we have oceans. Here this is the continent, okay, and one city is here, another city is here, and if the two ends are connected by railways, and this is known as Transcontinental Railways, okay. And they were constructed for the economic and political reasons to facilitate long runs in different directions. And so the following are the important transcontinental railways. The most important one is the Trans-Siberian Railways. Okay, so let us find out the features of Trans-Siberian Railways. So this railway, Trans-Siberian Railway, is a major rail route of Russia. Which runs from St. Petersburg in the west to Vladivostok on the Pacific coast. You have to remember the two terminal stations, okay? The one in the west is the St. Petersburg, and the one in the Pacific coast is the Vladivostok. And the map is also there in the textbook. And here also, see, I think you may be seeing here we have St. Petersburg here in the west, and in the east here we have Vladivostok in the Pacific coast, and this is the Trans-Siberian Railways. And this Trans-Siberian Railway passes through Moscow, Ufa, Novosibirsk, Irkutsk, Chita, and Khabarovsk. And it is the most important route in Asia and the longest in the world, with a length of 9,332 kilometers, double-track electrified transcontinental railway. So its economic importance lies here. Okay, it has helped in the opening of the Asian region to the West European markets because of this railway network. Okay, these Asian regions has opened its market to the West European markets, and it runs across the Ural Mountains, Obi, and Yenisei rivers. Chita is an important agro center. Irkutsk is a fur center, and they are connecting link to the south, namely Odessa in Ukraine, Baku on the Caspian Sea coast, then Tashkent in Uzbekistan, Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia, then Shenyang in Mukden, Beijing in China. All these are connected, okay, by these Trans-Siberian Railways with an extension, okay, with their respective extensions. And next we have the Trans-Canadian Railways. So this is 7,050 kilometer long rail line in Canada, runs from Halifax in the east to Vancouver on the Pacific coast. Just we have the map here also. It is also there in the book. Okay, and so this is the Canadian Trans-Canadian Railway, and Vancouver is here and Halifax is here, and so this is the track, okay, passing through so many centers, industrial and agricultural centers. Winnipeg, for example, Calgary, Chon. So passing through Montreal, Ottawa, Winnipeg, Calgary. And it was constructed in the year 1896 initially as a part of an agreement to make British Columbia on the west coast to join the Federation of States. And later, it gained economic significance because it connected the Quebec-Montreal industrial region with the wheat belt of the Prairie region and the coniferous forest region in the north. So this railway line connects the Quebec-Montreal industrial region with the wheat belt of the Prairie region and the coniferous forest region in the north. Coniferous, you know, this is a softwood tree forest, and it is used, okay, as a raw material for making paper and synthetic fibers. Okay, very important forest, very large forest in Canada. So it tells the importance of the economic importance of the Canada, and thus each of these regions became complementary to each other. And a loop line from Winnipeg to Thunder Bay, that is Lake Superior, connects this rail line with one of the important railways of the world. And this line is the economic artery of Canada, and wheat and meat are the important exports on this route. It is also here. This is the Trans-Siberian Railway, and here we have the Trans-Canadian, okay, railways. And next we have the Union Pacific Railway, and this railway line connects New York on the Atlantic coast to San Francisco on the Pacific coast, passing through Cleveland, Chicago, Omaha, Evans, Ogden, and Sacramento. Okay, so these are the stations connected by the Union and the Pacific Railway. you have to remember the two terminals, New York on the Atlantic coast and San Francisco on the Pacific coast. Okay, just I will tell you, one is here, New York is here, San Francisco here, and it is connected like this. Then the Australian Transcontinental Railway. This rail line runs west-east across the southern part of the continent from Perth on the west coast to Sydney on the east coast, passing through Calgary, Broken Hill, and Port Augusta. Okay, another major north-south line connects Adelaide and Alice Spring, and to be joined further to Darwin and the Birdham line. And here in our book, we have this one. Okay, this is the Australian Transcontinental Railway line. Perth in the west here. I think you are seeing Perth here in the west, and Sydney here in the east, and passing through Calgary here, Forest, Broken Hill, Port Augusta is here. Okay, and another one is running north-south. I think in other map you will see. I think you have seen also. Just see here. Another one is here. So this is the one. This is the one. Okay, that is mentioned in the book. Just see here. Another major north-south line connects the Adelaide and Alice Spring, and to be joined further with Darwin Birdham. So this is the one. Okay, so that is the one. So this one. And next we have the Orient Express. And so this line runs from Paris to Istanbul. This line runs from Paris to Istanbul, passing through Strasbourg, Munich, Vienna, Budapest, and Belgrade. The journey time from London to Istanbul by this express is now reduced to 96 hours as against the 10 days by the sea route. So if you travel, okay, the two stations, that is London to Istanbul by sea route, then it takes 10 days. But if you travel by this Orient Express, then it takes only 96 hours. So this is the significance of the Orient Express. And here we have a map showing the Orient Express. Okay, so these are the different tracks showing the Orient Express. One in the west, you are seeing London. Then after that, Calais is in France. London and France is connected by Eurotunnel. Then again in the east, here we have Istanbul here. I think it is black, and that is why Istanbul is here. Okay, London, Calais, and all these are the tracks. Okay. And see, important exports on this rail route are cheese, bacon, oat, wine, fruits, and machinery. So these are the important items exported through this railway track. And last but not the least, we have a proposal to build a trans-Asiatic railway line linking Istanbul with Bangkok, okay, Thailand, via Iran, then Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. So connecting the western part of Asia, that is from Turkey up to Thailand, okay, linking Istanbul with Bangkok via Iran, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. And this will be called Trans-Asiatic Railways. So it is proposed and will be constructing. Okay. So these are about railways. And any question, boys and girls?
No, sir.
Okay, then for today, let us stop here. Thank you very much for joining my class.